Emily sneered the moment I announced my resignation, but I met her gaze with silent resolve. The conversation had centered around the company's push to cut labor costs, laced with veiled contempt for those accused of exploiting overtime pay. Tom, too, seemed to relish the prospect of trimming expenses, his enthusiasm unsettling. A week later, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. When I finally answered, the president's sharp voice cut through the line. "Who exactly are you?" I scoffed at the absurdity of the question before responding evenly. "Lily Johnson, 59 years old, 37 years of service since my college graduation." I went on to explain the company's role in administrative support, particularly assisting overwhelmed executives with clerical work and tax matters. I personally managed 45 clients, an exhausting responsibility, even with the occasional help of a part-timer. Despite the burden, I had never faltered. These clients had relied on us for years, and I refused to let them down. Sitting at my desk now, I couldn't shake the weight of Tom and Emily's relentless harassment. Tom, 7 years my junior and newly promoted to head of the tax department, had transformed overnight. Once courteous, he now spoke in clipped, dismissive tones, wielding his authority like a weapon. Every discussion ended the same way: "Read the manual," he'd say, waving me off. "Don't waste time on unnecessary actions." Emily, his assistant, followed his lead, criticizing my efficiency, scoffing at my rank, oblivious to the fact that I had once turned down a promotion to department head, a position Tom and Emily assumed I had never qualified for. Their harassment escalated, with Tom branding my overtime a needless expense and Emily echoing his complaints, sighing about how my constant overtime was dragging the department down. Yet, the real reason behind my long hours was simple. Tom had dumped an entire month's worth of backlogged client files on my desk with little warning. At the end of the workday, my stomach dropped as I skimmed through the pile. The deadlines were all this month. "Wait, these are all urgent, aren't they?" I murmured, realization dawning. But before I could fully grasp the magnitude of the situation, Tom was already packing up for the day, not bothering to acknowledge my concern. "I'm heading out, take care," he said casually before walking out. Emily followed, tossing a mocking laugh over her shoulder. I stared at the mountain of work before me. Some of these files had originally been Emily's responsibility. And then, the final piece clicked into place. They wanted me gone. My experience and deeper knowledge of taxation made me a go-to resource for the department, one that overshadowed Tom. His cold, unapproachable nature made others wary of him, with the exception of Emily, who clung to him like a shadow, her allegiance likely fueled by ambition rather than loyalty. Tom preferred younger female employees, and Emily, eager to stay in his favor, was more than willing to play along. Her harassment wasn't just about me, it was about securing her own position. Despite their efforts, I couldn't afford to crumble. I had clients to take care of, tax documents to prepare, declarations to file. Yet, if I claimed overtime, I knew exactly what would follow: more scrutiny, more accusations, more reasons for them to push me out. Then, an unexpected call came. I was summoned to the president's office. With the company's leadership changing due to the former president's sudden illness, his son had stepped in, an unfamiliar face still finding his footing. As I entered, I noticed Tom and Emily already there, smug and self-assured. The air was thick with tension as the president delivered the verdict. "Lily, we'll need you to resign by the end of the month." My breath caught. I asked for clarification, though deep down, I already knew the answer. Tom and Emily had accused me of padding my overtime. Compared to their pristine records, zero overtime, my 80-hour tally painted me as the problem. The president, unaware of the real dynamics, had swallowed their story whole. The truth was glaringly simple. I had been working their overtime. But if I spoke out now, they'd spin it as my own inefficiency, my inability to manage time. And that was exactly what they wanted. I laid out the facts, making it clear that I hadn't inflated my overtime hours. I had simply struggled to complete the overwhelming workload within regular hours. The president let out a heavy sigh, his expression clouded with doubt. Though he acknowledged the lack of concrete evidence against me, he still insisted that keeping someone who worked at such a slow pace wasn't feasible. His mind was made up. With little choice left, I agreed to resign at the end of the month, though I had already planned to leave. Tom and Emily's satisfaction was unmistakable, their smug smiles a testament to their victory. As I stepped out of the office, Emily sneered. "Thanks for quitting." Her taunt sliced through the air, but I met it with silent defiance. Tom's condescending nod followed, his satisfaction evident. He muttered something about cutting labor costs and accused me of exploiting overtime pay. I ignored them. Instead, I focused on the handover process, ensuring my clients were well taken care of. I compiled detailed documents for each one, scheduled meetings with those I could see personally, and even wrote letters to inform the president of my recommended successor. A week after my resignation, I was enjoying a rare moment of peace at home when my phone rang. Seeing the company's number, I hesitated. I had finalized everything, even my social insurance paperwork. There was no reason for them to call, but as the ringing persisted, now from the company, now from Tom and Emily's personal numbers, I sighed and picked up. The president's urgent voice came through. "Who exactly are you?" I chuckled, unable to suppress my amusement. "Just an unemployed woman who resigned, nothing more." His panic was palpable as he explained. In just 1 week, 49 clients had called to cancel their contracts. The company was in chaos. "Please," he pleaded, desperation thick in his voice, "come back." Reluctantly, I got up and returned to the office. The moment I arrived, I was met with an unexpected sight: Tom and Emily, their faces pale, dark circles shadowing their exhausted eyes. They looked like they hadn't slept in days. I raised an eyebrow. "What happened to you two?" Tom shot me a glare. "Since you left, we've been flooded with cancellations, not just from your clients, but from potential new ones as well. What did you do?" Emily, equally drained, crossed her arms. "You didn't sabotage the company, did you?" I shook my head, amused by their paranoia. "I didn't do anything," I said honestly, "but I had a hunch about why this was happening." Tom wasn't convinced, his voice sharpened. "You must have orchestrated this." Before I could respond, he grabbed my arm and practically dragged me to the president's office, Emily trailing behind. The president met my gaze the moment I entered. His expression was unreadable. Tom wasted no time. "President, I brought her." His voice carried forced authority, as if he still believed he held control over the situation. Emily quickly chimed in, reinforcing his accusations. Ignoring them, the president looked straight at me. "Why did our clients start canceling the moment you left?" I took a deep breath before answering. "Our clients don't need us to manage their taxes. There are tax accountant firms that provide the same service at a lower cost." I paused, letting the truth settle in. "They stayed with us because of me." Tom scoffed. "You really think you're that important?" Emily smirked, mocking my confidence. I remained composed. "I don't think, I know." I explained how my work went beyond routine tax filing. I tailored tax-saving strategies to each client, personalizing services in a way no standardized manual could replicate. That was why they trusted me. Tom dismissed it immediately. "That's inefficient. Our manual-based operations are more practical." The president exhaled slowly, his face unreadable. Then, in a serious tone, he said, "Actually, I received an unexpected call from my father." Silence filled the room. "The former president?" Emily asked hesitantly. The current president nodded. "Several of our clients reached out to him directly, to negotiate on Lily's behalf." My breath caught. I had expected cancellations, but I hadn't anticipated that my clients would go so far as to fight for me. The president continued. "My father told me something that changed my perspective. He said the tax department thrived because of Lily. Not only did she manage her own clients efficiently, but she also supported others, handling work even Tom couldn't." Tom stiffened, his mouth opening slightly, as if to argue, but no words came out. The president looked at me, regret in his eyes. "He also told me something else. If you hadn't turned down the promotion, you'd be in a higher position than department head by now." The weight of his words sank in. Emily's face paled further, the realization hitting her: if I had accepted that promotion, I would have been her superior. The president sighed, then straightened. "I made a mistake in letting you go." His voice was firm but laced with regret. Then, after a pause, he asked, "Would you consider revoking your resignation?" His next words carried undeniable weight. "According to my father, you are indispensable to this company." I appreciated the shift in the president's perspective, but I hesitated to accept his offer. Before I could respond, Tom cut in, visibly agitated. "This is ridiculous. Why her?" he protested, his voice thick with frustration. Emily quickly chimed in, her voice laced with disbelief. "Tom is a far better leader. Why would you choose her over him?" The president's sharp gaze silenced them. "Since Lily's resignation, I've received multiple complaints from the tax department." He let the words sink in before continuing. "It turns out that the two of you have been offloading your work onto others." Tom's face drained of color. The president didn't stop there. "Tom, you've been delegating the preparation of client declaration forms to subordinates, some of which should have been Emily's responsibility. Meanwhile, Emily, you've been neglecting your duties altogether." The irony wasn't lost on me. Tom had accused me of being a salary thief, yet here he was, exposed for his own incompetence. Just as Tom and Emily were reeling from the revelation, the president delivered another blow. "I've also been informed of an alleged leak about your personal relationship." Emily stiffened, Tom's jaw clenched. He tried to deflect. "I was just mentoring her as her superior." The president remained unmoved. "Then explain these." He placed a stack of receipts from the accounting department on the desk, dining expenses filed under Tom's name. Sweat beaded on Tom's forehead. He opened his mouth, but no excuse came. Emily turned ghostly pale. The president folded his hands on the desk. "Neglecting your duties, inflating expense claims, violating company policy by engaging in an office affair, while both of you are married." His voice was calm but final. "You're both terminated, effective immediately." The weight of the words crushed them. Tom and Emily scrambled for excuses. "We'll retract the expense claims," Tom blurted out. "Please, I have a family." Emily's voice wavered. I don't want to be fired. I'll apologize to her, to everyone." I observed their desperation and offered a simple piece of advice. "Why don't you stop resisting? It's undignified." Tom snapped his head toward me. "Shut up. What would a single person like you understand?" I exhaled. "Tom, you were the one who got me fired. This is karma. Actions have consequences. Why don't you take responsibility for once?" Tom looked away, unable to argue. Emily bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes. A thought occurred to me, and I turned to the president with a knowing smile. Should I share the rest? Tom and Emily stiffened. Their silence was telling. I continued, "Wrongdoings always come to light. It's better to face reality now before it gets worse." Their last shred of defiance shattered. Both of them collapsed to their knees. The president wasted no time. "You're fired, that's final." Later, I revealed even more of their misdeeds. The fake business trips, where Tom spent days with Emily instead of working. Their insidious tactics to force employees they disliked into quitting, assigning impossible deadlines, issuing baseless reprimands, making work unbearable. Those employees had once begged me not to speak up. Now, they were thriving in better workplaces. With nothing holding me back, I finally exposed everything. The president was livid. He announced that Tom and Emily's final salaries would be withheld and their fraudulent expense claims thoroughly investigated. Tom fell apart. "Please, don't cut my salary. I have a family to support." But there was no undoing the damage. As more details emerged, their office affair became public knowledge. Tom's wife filed for divorce. A lawsuit followed, with both Tom and Emily facing compensation claims. I only learned of their downfall when Tom, desperate, called me for help. "Please," he pleaded, his voice breaking, "talk to the president, ask him to reconsider." Emily called, too. "Lily, please," she sobbed, "I just wanted a better life. I never even truly liked Tom." I listened, but I felt nothing. "You can't unring a bell," I said, "this is the price of your choices." Emily wept, but no amount of regret could change what had already been set in motion. As for me, despite the president's repeated pleas, I declined his offer to return. Once told to resign, I had no desire to go back. Instead, I found peace working at a friend's tax office, earning well while enjoying a more relaxed life. Someday, I might start my own firm, a place where I could work on my own terms, free from corporate politics. Where I could serve my clients as a trusted advisor, not just an employee. This was the beginning of a new chapter. A second life. And I was ready for it.